The Mystic Spearhand is probably one of the best vocations you can pick to play and master in Dragon's Dogma 2. With exciting attacks, a great combination of melee and magic, and plenty to master and level up, the Mystic Spearhand is at this point my favorite vocation yet. Now, the Mystic Spearhand may be one of the more advanced combination vocations, but you don't actually have to wait like 20 hours to get it. In fact, you could probably unlock this vocation within the first 5 or so hours of your gameplay time. I'll also be covering my favorite build for this vocation and my recommendations on how to level up, as well as which skills you want to unlock. Unlocking Mystic Spearhand as a vocation requires you to have some interaction with its vocation Maistre named Sigurd. Getting to Sigurd is going to take a bit of time, so here's what you gotta do. First, speak to Captain Brandt. This is when you accept a quest called Monster Culling. Once you've accepted this quest, you have 3 locations to head to. Finish up the 3, head back to Brandt, confirm the quest, and you've completed it. Now there's 2 ways to get to Sigurd. I'll go through both in case certain things play out in your game differently. The most common way I've seen is this. After Monster Culling, you're gonna go back to Melv. There, it should be besieged by some gross looking dragon. Sigurd will be there to fight it. After the fight, you want to go talk to him. But be warned, there is a chance you may miss him, so here's the way I did it. For some reason, when I went back to Melv, it didn't work. I rested a couple of times, still didn't work. The dragon fight just didn't happen. I have no clue why, so I found a different way of doing it that's much easier. I went to Harv Village. This is a place you have to discover on the map, so I'll just show you where it is on the screen. Once you're in Harv, you're gonna have a quest to deal with something called a Saurian. After that, you need to rest for maybe like 2 days, head back to Harv. It'll once again be under siege by Saurians. After that, rest maybe 1 or 2 more days to be safe. Then you're gonna want to head to this building called the Coastal Hut. Inside, you're gonna find Sigurd just standing there. Talk to him, he's maybe gonna say like 1 line or something. You're gonna get the Mystic Spearhand unlocked. Not sure how it worked for me, but those are the steps I followed. The Mystic Spearhand can be a very powerful vocation if you know what to do with it, and you can level it up quickly. For the most part, equipping this vocation means that you're gonna be up close with your enemies, but it is super effective at many ranges, and it's important to note that playing this vocation also means that you're gonna have to be fast and lethal. Leveling up takes some time, but I recommend just going around Vernworth or even Batal if you're that far in and just fighting whatever monsters you see. If you can kill an ogre or a cyclops or something of that caliber, that's even better for leveling up. You'll start to notice that you're getting higher and higher in the vocation. This is not a super fast process, so be patient. This vocation takes a while. Although there are plenty of skills to choose from, there were a few that I found to be the absolute star of the show. Firstly, we have the Dragon Stab. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but that's the best I could do. This is an absolute must in my opinion to have on when you're using the Mystic Spearhand. This skill lets you traverse a long distance and deal a pretty awesome blow to your enemies. Plus, it can help you get a bit airborne so you can take out some of the more annoying flying ones like the Harpies. Dragon's Foin is the more advanced version of this that will let you travel even farther, so you definitely want to unlock it once you can. Sky Dragon's Fangtooth is another great one that can deal a ton of damage in a short range. This one lets you leap up and then slam the spear down into the ground, causing a bit of a shockwave of damage to the enemies around you. Mirror Vesture is an important one to use as it prevents enemies from attacking you and any allies within a range of a sort of bubble that you form around yourself. It's an essential one to use and can really change the way you play melee with this vocation. I would say that this one is a must to equip. Humble Offrange is also an excellent skill to use. This one forms a bubble that picks up an enemy within range and tosses it. You can pick up multiple small enemies, and it's great for getting rid of these more, small annoying enemies that kind of just pop up during a fight sometimes. You can equip up to 4 weapon skills at a time, so choose wisely. The other skills are just fine, but for me, I found that these were the most effective and delivered the best punch during combat, allowing for the Mystic Spearhand's work to be done much better in a fight. There's no limit on how many you can have unlocked. These are passively applied, which means that you don't really need special buttons to apply the attacks or anything like that. They are just there. I'll go through these briefly since you can have as many as you want. Twine Cut is an effective paced light attack that's not very slow, but it's not very weak either. This one is used to open up winding cut combos as needed for medium-sized targets that require more attacks to take down. Magic Cut is the heavy attack for Mystic Spearhand, and this one is great for flinched or downed targets. Sometimes you're going to be mounting larger targets such as the Gryphons, so this is great because it can be used on the weak spots and it delivers a very massive amount of damage. Redoubted Bolt is another quick action that allows you to flinch small targets and then follow up with the Quick Fought or Dragon Stab to quickly engage anything from a small to a medium target. Forebetting Bolt is another tool that's great for larger or flying targets so that you can actually reach them. This can also be used against larger foes to limit their movement and attack speed, which allows you to have a longer window to attack them and for your pawns to attack them. Scattering Bolt applies a snare after Foreboding Bolt, further slowing targets for longer windows so that you can attack. Quick Thought, which I mentioned just a little earlier, is another way that you can actually close the gap and reach flying targets at a much more effective speed and range. It can also be used alongside with Dragon Stab, which you'd use after Quick Thought, in order to reach and grab onto targets. However, it's going to take some time for you to practice this technique because timing is really important with it. Forain Bolt is just an upgrade for the range of the Redoubted Bolt. Winding Cut is a windmill attack that is great on targets that are on the move or groups that are basically kind of all piled up. You just kind of have to spam certain buttons sometimes in order to get some of these skills to actually work. If you read the skill descriptions when you're going to unlock them, you'll see, for example, that that's something that you're going to have to do. But for the most part, these are applied passively, so they just kind of happen. Augments are a bit of a different grouping on their own. Not every vocation is going to have the same augments, but augments you unlock from one vocation can be applied to a whole other vocation. So there are many augments you can pick to apply to Mystic Spearhand. You can just stick with the ones that come with Mystic Spearhand. However, my recommendation is that you should go and play some of the other vocations, get the augments from them, and apply it to Mystic Spearhand. This is going to make your build much more effective and much more powerful. It's going to take some time because, like I said, you're going to have to go play through these other vocations. So if you're willing to take the time to do it, then it's a great idea. In any case, here are some of the augments I recommend you apply to Mystic Spearhand. First is Endurance. This is from the Archer vocation and it requires Archer level 4. This one increases your maximum stamina. Lethality is also from the Archer vocation. You're going to need Archer vocation rank 8. This one just increases damage dealt when striking a target's vitals. Catalysis is from the Sorcerer vocation. It's going to require your rank to be at 8 for that one. It just increases the amount of damage dealt when exploiting enemies' elemental weaknesses. Sagacity is from also the Sorcerer vocation. It's going to require rank 9. This one just increases your magic stat. Vitality comes from the Warrior vocation. This one increases your max health. You're going to have to be rank 2 on the Warrior. And finally, Dominance. This one is also from the Warrior vocation. It increases your knockdown power and it's going to require Warrior at rank 8. If you want to become a complete master in the Mystic Spearhand vocation, you can learn the Maestre's ultimate ability to totally complete this vocation and make it even better. In order to do that, you're going to have to go to Dragon's Breath Tower in Batal, southeast of the capital, Batal. Sigurd, who I did mention earlier, is going to be there. He's going to ask for help in defeating the dragon. Upon defeating the dragon, you're going to unlock the ultimate ability, which is Wild Fury. This ability lets you unleash a massive flurry of slashes and magic attacks, and you can continue to press a button over and over to keep releasing it. Hiring the right pawns for your party is an important thing to do, and it can really help you to have a balanced, diverse party that's going to support you while you play Mystic Spearhand. Although you can realistically just pick any combination you want, I recommend you have at least a mage on your team. Mages are great because they can heal, which is vital when you're mainly slashing at your enemies and you're not really playing defense much. The mage can also grant you elemental abilities, which lets you use more magic on your weaponry. The archer or sorcerer are also great, and I recommend you swap them out depending on what you find works for your team the best. The reason being is that having someone perform ranged attacks is perfect for any party setup, especially when you're not the ranged attacker. They can support you by making sure you're not getting attacked from above because sometimes goblins like to hide out on taller cliff sides. Finally, having a warrior or a fighter is a great pawn to have on your team as well. These melee vocations can support you by taking out other enemies aggressively. It's more like having a tank support on your team, and it definitely backs you up as the Mystic Spearhand. Overall, the Mystic Spearhand is probably one of the best vocations I played around with in Dragon's Dogma 2. It's very exciting, super powerful, and it has a lot of attack range. It's also effective and lethal. It's important to maintain stamina though for this vocation because you can drain that quickly with spamming some of those skills I mentioned earlier. For Mystic Spearhand as well, you're gonna want to focus on getting better weapons. Don't worry much about armor, it's pretty limited for this vocation. The base armor you get is fine, and the weapon is the thing that makes most of the difference. You're not playing defense, it doesn't really matter that much, you're in offensive position with Mystic Spearhand. So, save your money, get a good spear to use against your enemies. Trust me on that one. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss out on a single upload. Comment below your thoughts on the Mystic Spearhand vocation and if it's one you think you'll be using in the game. Don't forget to check out our website for gaming news, entertainment, and more. The link to that as well as all our other important links are in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next video.